It's me, Gemma, and this is my mid-year book Freakout tag. I can't believe it's nearly the end of June already. Obviously it's been a really weird year. Pandemics, protests, like things that you feel, like the Australian wildfires, that was this year as well. 2020 is definitely going to be a year they're going to need a big ass chapter for in the history books, and I for one will be glad when we get out of the other side of the pandemic at least. I don't think we're at the end of the protests, or nor should we be. There's still so much more that needs to be done. And again, in the description box below will be links to Black Lives Matter, lists of Black creators, and other links that I have found interesting over the last month or so. As I said in my description as well, it's not our job as white people to ask Black people to educate us. Our job is to go out and educate ourselves. There's plenty of resources out there. Google is always free, and I suggest things like the Southern Poverty Law Centre and things like that. I've always found that interesting when doing research about things like Charlottesville, the alt-right. There's some good documentaries on Netflix, and on, I think, Channel 4 in the UK has some good Vice documentaries. So first question in the book Freakout tag is the best book that you have read so far this year. And for me, that has to be Gods of Jade and Shadow by Silvia Moreno Garcia. I have already pre-ordered her next book, Mexican Gothic. I'm really looking forward to it. This book is just an absolute jewel of a book. It's about a girl called Cassiopeia who is grown up as the sort of outcast in her family. Her family value very European looking heritage and sort of behaviour, things like that, and Cassiopeia is not that. She harks to the sort of culture of her father, who originally wanted to give her a Mayan name. And Cassiopeia becomes embroiled in a sort of cosmic war between two brothers who rule the Mayan underworld. I think it's pronounced Xibalba. And she has to go on a journey with the god Kami, who's god king of the kingdom of death, to restore him to his throne. But in the meantime, there is a bond between them because her blood brought him back to life. And it's just really beautiful. I had no expectations going into this, in all honesty. I had not read any of the author's work before. I hadn't really watched any reviews of the book or anything like that. I was drawn in solely on the fact that I was going through a kick about Mayan history and watching loads of documentaries on it and things like that, and I couldn't find a lot of books about the Maya, in all honesty. I've managed to get a hold of a couple of textbooks and things like that, but nothing like to the level that you would expect for a civilization that lasted that long and was made up of so many people. I mean, it was like bigger than ancient Egypt, I believe. And you think about the amount of books there are on ancient Egypt, the amount of school projects that have been done on it, it can't compare to the lack of literature about the Maya. So yeah, I loved this book. I did cry at the end. I love Cassiopeia, and I thought the ending was really perfect. And yeah, I think everyone should read this book, and I'm so looking forward to Mexican Gothic. It's, I think, one of only like 3 pre-orders that I've done this year, and I can't wait. Honestly, please pick this up. It's also set in the Jazz Age. If you liked the setting of the Diviners, which I didn't really enjoy the Diviners, but it's got a 20s flair along with that South American sort of thing going on for it. So I really love this book. It's the best book I've read so far this year, and I really would love it if everyone read it. I will cheerlead this one forever. So the next question in the tag is the best sequel that you've read this year. And for me, that honour has to go to Down Among the Sticks and Bones by Shauna Maguire. I had picked up Every Heart a Doorway, really loved it. And this one is a sort of prequel to Every Heart a Doorway and focuses on the characters of Jack and Jill and their experiences in their portal world. I really loved the expansion of Jack and Jill's characters. Mainly you do follow Jack, but you do come to understand Jill a little bit more as well. And I really liked how the world worked and the sort of mechanics of it. Plus, look at this cover, it's absolutely gorgeous. It is a beautiful book, and I do have the second one, Come Tumbling Down, about Jack and Jill on my shelves waiting to be read as well. Now, the next question that I'm looking down all the time because I had to write these questions down, I have the brain of a lemming, so I have no memory, and I also film on my camera, so I can't actually look down at my camera to see the questions. So the new release I haven't read yet but want to is The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin, and this one actually just arrived yesterday. I'm very excited about it. I bought it as part of my Juneteenth haul, buying from Black authors, and it's about New York, and it seems to have themes of like genius loci, as in a place being sort of alive. So I'm really looking forward to it, and it's set in Manhattan, and a student loses his memory, but he senses the beating heart of the city, its history and its power. Every great city has a soul. Some are ancient as myths, others are new and destructive as children. New York City, she's got 6. So I think that would refer to the 6 boroughs. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I still haven't read any N.K. Jemisin. I have like 4 waiting to be read, but this one is probably going to be first. I just can't resist how gorgeous this cover is. So yeah, this is the new release that I'm going to be reading next. So my most anticipated release for the second half of the year, I've got 2 actually. One is Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia, and the other one is The Dirty South by John Connolly. The Dirty South was meant to come out in April, but it was postponed because of COVID. It's a prequel in the Charlie Parker series. I buy like all the Charlie Parker books in a hardback, and I have like most of them signed. So I am a big fan, as you can tell, and it's I think going to be set between like the first and second of his books when he's just kind of starting out as a private eye. So it's probably going to be less supernatural, I'd imagine. I still think that there should be an Amazon show or Netflix show for Charlie Parker. I think it would be the absolute shit. John Connolly, hopefully someone will come along and do that. So as I say, that is my most anticipated release, along with Mexican Gothic, which I already talked about, and I talked about Gods of Jade and Shadow. So the next question is, what's been your biggest disappointment of the year? And I'm just gonna say I don't actually have any. I've been sort of surprised pleasantly this year, but I haven't been surprised in a negative way. Like I've read some of the sort of Kindle Unlimited horror books that are just complete and utter trash. They're just shite. But I wasn't disappointed because I expected them to kind of be not very good. I'd rather be pleasantly surprised. So yeah, I don't have any disappointments so far for this year. I'm hoping that none of the books that I'm looking at just now are going to disappoint me, because that would be... So the next question is my favourite new author that can be new or just new to me, and the author is new to me, and that is Rin Gepeko, who wrote the Bone Witch trilogy, which I finished about 2 or 3 days ago. The Bone Witch is so refreshing. It has a totally different myth structure. It's not sort of the same or similar gods and things like that. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but sometimes you want something a bit different. And the main character in this book, T, is a dark Asha, so she's like a dark sorceress. and her ability enables her to raise the dead, basically. And in this world, they do need the Dark Asha for reasons that are explained later on in the book, but they are very much feared and sort of shunned for what they are. So T has a very hard road ahead of her, and all of it starts when she accidentally raises her brother from the dead, and he becomes her familiar. It's great. The bond between them is truly one of the best things about the trilogy. I have also picked up The Never Tilting World as well. The Girl in the Well I've got on Kindle to read, and I will read whatever else Rin Chupeco puts out because I absolutely love her writing, and I just think that the Bone Witch trilogy is absolutely stellar. And people, if you like fantasy at all, you should read it. It also has a really nice romance that I really like, really sweet romance. So the next question is newest fictional crush, and I don't really have fictional crushes anymore. I have like characters that I'm obsessed with and that I'll go on Tumblr and do loads of edits of, or not do edits, but like look at lots of edits of and all that kind of stuff. And if I was going to pick one character that I've done that consistently for, it would be Maria Morevna from Deathless by Catherine M. Valente. I absolutely loved the style of that book, and I loved Maria, and I loved going on Tumblr and looking at loads of edits of her and things like that. So if I did have a fictional crush, it would be her, just because I like to look at edits, but other than that I don't really have one. And my newest favourite character is Kelsey from Queen of the Tearling. This one is actually a really big surprise for me as well, because in fact this is my biggest surprise of the year. I can't remember whether I already said something, but if I did, I was wrong. So Kelsey is the main character. She is, the bell on the back is "Do you love Hunger Games?" partial to an episode of Game of Thrones, but in all honesty, I wouldn't compare this to the Hunger Games because it's far more adult than the Hunger Games. Kelsey was brought up in isolation, and she, on her 19th birthday, is going to be taken to the main capital to become Queen of the Tearling. And she has to deal with people who don't want her on the throne, people who are going to use her for their own ends, and the legacy that her mother's bad decisions left behind. The reason I love Kelsey is that she does feel sorry for herself. I think anyone would in that situation, but she immediately sees the bad stuff that's going on in her kingdom and isn't content to just let it lie. She immediately is like, no, this is not happening. I'm not letting anyone do this to my kingdom, to my subjects. And she immediately develops this sense of duty, this sense of honour, this sense of she has an obligation to the people in her kingdom and the people who look up to her to help them. So that's why I love Kelsey, because there's not even like, she has a crush on someone, but it's very vague. There's not really any romance in this book. I think there's going to be in the second and third book, but I don't know. So yeah, Kelsey is my new favourite character. I can't wait to see what happens to her in the next two books. I think that she is awesome, and yeah, just a really great character. Well done, Erica Johansson. So the next question is a book that made you cry, and for me that was The Shadow Glass by Rin Chupeco. This is the conclusion to the Bone Witch trilogy, and I can't really say a lot about it because it would spoil what happens in the trilogy, but the last 2 or 3 chapters absolutely ripped out my heart and stomped on it and made me cry. The end of T's story was just, it was exactly what it needed to be, and it didn't pull any punches at all, and it was just, there was that sense of something cataclysmic, and the loss resulting from it was cataclysmic as well. There was no sort of everything's tied up neat in a bow and everyone lives happily ever after. So I really do love this series, and yeah, they called it the explosive conclusion, and I would definitely agree. So next of all, we have a book that made me happy. So for the next question, a book that made me happy, I'm going to go for Every Heart a Doorway by Shauna Maguire. I put off reading this for quite a while, mainly because it was so short but so expensive, but I eventually did pick it up. I'm so glad I did, and it's really opened a doorway to a new great series for me. I love the characters, I really love Nancy, and I can't wait to see what other characters Shauna Maguire comes out with next in this world. From what I can tell, there doesn't seem to be any slowing down in the writing of them, so the series could go on for quite a while, which I would be really happy with. So the next question, the most beautiful book I've received this year so far or bought, I think that would have to actually go to Ruthless Gods by Emily A. Duncan, which is the sequel to Wicked Saints, which was in itself a really gorgeous book. I mean, check that out. Look at that. And then obviously the covers all foiled, the edges are deckled. I love deckled edges, I really do. And then Darkness Never Works Alone side red. Oh, I just really love it. I can't wait to read it actually. I've just kept putting it off. It's a victim of books that I'm looking forward to so much that I never get round to reading them, which see Dark Dawn for that. And let me see, last question, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? So I've got a pile here of ones that I want to get read by the end of the year. So first of all is Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi, and this is a fantasy set in an African inspired world. So I don't really know much about it, but it looks really cool. It kept getting recommended to me on Goodreads and on Amazon, so I thought I would pick it up. The sequel I think is out now, so we're going to give this a go and see if we like it, but I always love a good new fantasy world, especially fantasy worlds that have different myth structures. It's totally my thing. And then I have The 100,000 Kingdoms by N.K. Jemisin, which is the first book in the Inheritance trilogy. So I picked this up along with The City We Became, and this is about a woman who moves to a city where gods and mortals live together, and she is kind of thrust into being a possible heir to the throne and blah blah blah. There was a Twitter thread that has some quotes from the romance in that book, and it sounds tasty. So yeah, I'll be reading that before the end of the year. Also, The Going for Your Deception by Kirsten White. Still haven't read this. I still keep saying I'm going to read it. I really should. I should get around to it. But it's a victim of my hyperfixations where I get involved in something else and then want to read all about it. Then we have One Crier's Moon by Catherine Purdy, and this one has sort of a girl who's in charge of, I believe, a clan of people who are responsible for sort of ferrying the souls of the dead. Yeah, they alone can keep the dead from praying to the living. So, pardon me. So I love a good death ferrying story, so hopefully that will be good. I also want to read Wind Witch by Susan Dennard. I read Truth Witch earlier on in the year, really loved it, immediately bought the sequels. I've got this and Blood Witch to read this year. Also I have There Will Come a Darkness by Katie Rose Poole, and quite a few people have said that this is meant to be really good. There's a new age of darkness coming. There are sort of new 5 souls who are meant to decide the fate of the world. Sounds like a really good fantasy, right up my figurative alley. And then, so I also have Waiting to Read Come Tumbling Down by Shauna Maguire, and this is the 5th book in the Wayward Children series. And Jack and Jill are back for a new adventure. Very much looking forward to reading this one. they're really short, as I've said before, so I really want to get that one read before the next one comes out. So that is, yep, that is everything. I can't believe I've rabbited on for like 20 odd minutes, but there we go. Stay safe, take care, love you. Bye.